Stop! Before you spend your next quarter, take a closer look. One of these ordinary-looking quarter-dollar coins could be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. Today, we're counting down the top 3 rare quarters collectors are desperately searching for. And number 1 might be hiding in your pocket right now. You are standing in line at a grocery store. You reach into your pocket to pay for a pack of gum, and you pull out a handful of loose change. You glance at the coins, as you have done thousands of times before, and you see a quarter. Just a quarter. You drop it into the tip jar, or you toss it back into the cup holder of your car, thinking nothing of it. Another day, another 25 cents lost to the couch cushions of America. But what if I told you that, in that moment of carelessness, you might have just let go of a down payment on a house? What if I told you that the coin you just dismissed as pocket change could actually be worth $480,000? Stop for a second, take a breath, and think about every single quarter you have ever spent without a second thought. The United States Mint has produced billions of state quarters since the program began in 1999. Most of them are worth exactly what they say they are, 25 cents. But there is a ghost in the machine, a specific coin that has sent shivers down the spines of numismatists and treasure hunters alike. It is the 2000 South Carolina quarter. And if you have one sitting in a jar right now, you need to listen very closely. Most people who find old coins assume they are worthless unless they are made of silver or gold. That is a mistake that has cost ordinary Americans a fortune. While the standard 2000 South Carolina clad quarters in circulated condition are only worth their face value of 25 cents, there is a shadow market, a hidden economy, where a single misprint can rewrite your financial future. This is the story of that coin, the catastrophic errors that create it, and why you need to check your pocket change right now. The 2000 South Carolina quarter was released on May 22, 2000, as the 8th coin in the United States Mint's famous 50-state quarters program. This was a time of immense national pride, a celebration of each state's unique history and geography. The reverse of the coin, designed by Thomas D. Rogers, features the iconic palmetto tree, the Carolina wren, and the yellow jessamine. It is a beautiful design, a testament to the spirit of the Palmetto State. However, beauty and value are two very different things. Over 566 million of these quarters were minted in Denver alone. At the Philadelphia Mint, that number exceeded 742 million. With numbers like that, you might think that finding a valuable one is impossible. You would be wrong. It is precisely because there are so many of them that the errors stand out like beacons in the dark. This brings us to Act 2, the confrontation with the reality of the market. To understand why a quarter can be worth nearly $500,000, you need to understand the anatomy of a mint error. The 2000 South Carolina quarter is notorious for several specific types of mistakes that turn scrap metal into gold. First, there is the anomaly of the mule error. In numismatics, a mule is a coin struck with obverse and reverse dies that were never intended to be paired together. In the year 2000, a catastrophic mistake occurred at the Denver Mint. A reverse die intended for the South Carolina quarter was paired with an obverse die for the Sacagawea dollar. The result was a coin that has the head of Sacagawea on one side and the Palmetto State on the other. This specific double-denomination mule error is considered unique and highly coveted. It was struck on a dollar coin planchet weighing 8.1 grams, a full 3 grams heavier than a standard quarter. When this coin was authenticated and certified by the professional coin grading service as Mint State 64, it sent the collecting world into a frenzy. While the exact hammer price for this unique mule has been reported in the range of $60,000 to $66,000, the conversation around it raises the question, what is the ceiling for these errors? The market for the other famous Sacagawea mule, where examples appear at auction, routinely exceeds $100,000. But the mule is not the only ghost in the machine. There is also the phenomenon of the dual misalignment. Imagine the massive hydraulic presses used to strike coins. They weigh dozens of tons and exert pressure that can flatten steel. Now imagine that press breaking down, shaking violently as the dies slip out of alignment. In a 2017 report, Coin World detailed a 2000p South Carolina quarter that features a dual misalignment of both the hammer die and the anvil die. The obverse showed an 8% misalignment toward the 7:30 clock position, while the reverse showed an 11% misalignment. Major horizontal misalignments of the anvil die are exceedingly rare. For this to happen, the collar that holds the die has to literally break apart. Even rarer are coins that display major horizontal misalignments of both dies simultaneously. This is not a smudge or a scratch. This is a catastrophic failure of industrial machinery captured forever in metal. These are the coins that dealers dream of. Then there are the more accessible errors, the ones you might actually spot without a magnifying glass. We are talking about off-center strikes, where the coin is hit by the die at a wrong angle, leaving a blank space on the edge. These can be worth anywhere from $15 to $100, depending on how dramatic the shift is. We are talking about clipped planchets, where the metal blank used to make the coin is missing a chunk before it is even struck. These are worth $10 and up. We are talking about double die errors, where the design looks like it has a shadow or a ghost image. Even minor die cracks can sell for $20 to $50. But here is where the story takes a turn toward the miraculous, toward that magical number, for $180,000. While the specific auction record for a 2000p South Carolina quarter-graded MS-69 has sold for as high as $8,000, the market for unique errors is fluid and explosive. The value of a coin is not just about the metal. It is about the story, the rarity, and the desperate desire of collectors to own a piece of history. When you combine the extreme rarity of a pristine, high-grade specimen with a catastrophic mint error, the price enters the stratosphere. Some variations of this coin, with extra spikes or in pristine condition, are estimated to be worth between $500 and $2,500. But the extreme outliers, the mules and the dual misalignments, are valued in the tens and hundreds of thousands. Think about that. You could be holding a coin right now that has a design flaw so rare that it is listed in the same breath as the 100 greatest U.S. modern coins. This is not about inflation. This is about scarcity. Now we arrive at Act 3, the resolution. The market for state quarters is still white hot. As of 2025, collectors and investors are scouring bank rolls and pocket change with a fervor that has not been seen since the early days of the program. The rarity of high-grade examples continues to drive prices up. But you have to know what you are looking for. Here is the call to action. Do not wait. Do not assume your change is worthless. Go to your bedroom. Go to your garage. Find that old coffee can, that mason jar, that shoebox full of loose change that you have been meaning to take to the bank for the last 10 years. Dump it out on the table. Look for the year 2000. Look for the palmetto tree. Look for the P or the D mint mark. Check the edge of the coin. If it looks thicker than a normal quarter, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. Check the alignment. If George Washington looks like he is sliding off the edge of the coin, you might be holding an off-center strike. If the reverse looks like it is vibrating or has a ghost image, you might have a double die error. Look for anomalies that you cannot explain. Trust your gut. If a coin looks wrong, it might be right. And if you find one, do not clean it. Do not rub it with a cloth. Do not try to make it shine. Cleaning a coin destroys its numismatic value. If you find an error coin, the best thing you can do is put it in a protective sleeve, handle it by the edges, and take it to a reputable coin dealer. Let the experts look at it. Remember the story of the 2000D Sacagawea mule. That coin sat in obscurity for more than 20 years before it was authenticated. It was hiding in plain sight. Your treasure could be hiding in plain sight, too. The difference between being a spender and being a collector is the willingness to look closely. The difference between living paycheck to paycheck and achieving a wealthy lifestyle is often just a matter of paying attention. That quarter in your pocket could be the key. Are you willing to look? Have you ever emptied a jar of pocket change onto your kitchen counter, looked at the pile of tarnished metal, and felt nothing but the mild annoyance of carrying dead weight? Most people see quarters as nothing more than government-issued tokens for parking meters and laundry machines. But what if I told you that a single quarter, a coin that looks almost identical to the one you might have used to buy a soda this morning, could be the key to unlocking a fortune that rivals the price of a house? What if the difference between spending it and saving it was a gap of nearly $500,000? Let that sink in for a moment. There is a specific coin, minted in 2006, bearing the image of Mount Rushmore. that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. A coin so rare, so shrouded in the mystery of a manufacturing anomaly, that it has transformed ordinary people into overnight millionaires. We are talking about the 2006 South Dakota $quarter, and its potential market value has been rumored to reach as high as $550,000. Today, we are going to strip away the noise and dive deep into the technical brilliance and hidden wealth of this modern-day treasure. By the end of this video, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. Let's start with the history. The South Dakota quarter was released on November 6, 2006, as the 40th coin in the United States Mint's wildly popular 50-state quarters program. Designed to celebrate the Mount Rushmore state, the reverse of this coin is a masterpiece of intricate detail. It features the iconic sculpted heads of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln carved into the Black Hills. Flanking this monumental image is a ring of wheat and a Chinese ring-necked pheasant in flight, symbols of the state's agricultural heritage and natural beauty. Now, here is where the story takes a turn. The Philadelphia Mint alone produced over 245 million of these quarters. The Denver Mint added another 265 million to the supply. That is over 500 million coins flooding the market. With numbers like that, the average South Dakota quarter is worth exactly face value, 25 cents. It is nothing more than a piece of pocket change. But here is the pattern interrupt. Stop what you are doing right now. Go to your car, your junk drawer, or that jar on your nightstand. Pull out the first quarter you see. Look at the date. If it says 2006 and if it has the South Dakota design on the back, do not, under any circumstances, spend it until you finish watching this video. Because the difference between a quarter and $250,000 is measured in millimeters of metal, in tiny imperfections that the naked eye can easily miss. To understand the value of the 2006 South Dakota quarter, we have to understand the mechanics of how coins are made. It is a process of immense precision, but even the most sophisticated machinery is susceptible to failure. The errors that create these six-figure windfalls are not the result of wear and tear from circulation. They are mint errors, defects that occurred during the striking process at the factory. First, there is the struck-through error. This happens when a foreign object, a thread of cloth, a metal shaving, or even a strand of hair, accidentally gets between the die and the planchet during the strike. The object blocks the design, leaving a shallow, smooth depression on the coin's surface. A 2006 South Dakota quarter graded MS62 with a debris-struck-through error on the obverse sold at heritage auctions for a staggering $735. That is a significant premium for a coin most people would dismiss as damaged. Then there is the missing clad layer error. This is where things get truly fascinating. Every modern quarter is a sandwich of metals. The outer layers are a silver-like alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, while the center is pure copper. If one of these outer layers fails to bond and peels off, the copper core is exposed. The result is a coin that looks distinctly copper-colored on one side. Collectors pay anywhere from a few $100s to nearly $2,000 for these errors. A 2006 P-State quarter South Dakota missing clad layer on reverse, graded NGC MS63, sold at auction. But the errors that command the highest prices are the ones that are almost invisible. We are talking about the wounded pheasant or specific die breaks. The South Dakota quarter has a complex relief, making the dies harder to produce. This complexity leads to die cracks, thin lines on the surface among the wheat ears or on the pheasant's wings. While minor die chips are common and add little value, a significant anomaly or a major die break on the bird or the faces of Mount Rushmore can skyrocket the value. This brings us to the ghost in the market, the rumor that has collectors obsessively checking their change. There are whispers of a specific 2006 South Dakota quarter, in circulated condition, that shocked the numismatic world when it sold for over $475,000. Think about that. A coin that had been handled, scratched, and spent like any other piece of junk sold for more than the average American home. Why? Because of a hidden mint error so rare, so specific, that it turned a mass-produced piece of metal into a numismatic holy grail. Some sources suggest that certain specimens can fetch values reaching up to $550,000. But here is the reality check. While high-grade specimens, MS-68, can sell for hundreds of dollars due to their flawless preservation, it is the errors that create the millionaires. The market for these coins is hot, fueled by a community of collectors who are constantly searching for that one in a million mistake. Now, I need to reset your attention again. You might be thinking, I don't have that coin. But here is the thing about probability: they made over 500 million of these. The odds are low, but they are not zero. And the cost of checking is nothing. The potential reward? It could be a life-changing fortune that provides you with the financial freedom you have always dreamed of achieving. The market for error coins is not just a niche hobby anymore. It is a multi-million-dollar industry. Auctions are setting record prices every year. A 2006 South Dakota quarter with the right error can sell for anywhere from $20 to over $900, and that is just for the common errors. When you start talking about unique, one-off errors, the kind that makes a coin a ghost in the market, the price enters the stratosphere. It is not just about the money, though. It is about the hunt. It is about the thrill of knowing that hidden wealth could be sitting right under your nose, disguised as pocket change. It is about the fear of missing out, the FOMO that grips you when you realize you might have spent a fortune on a cup of coffee. I want you to think about the last time you used a quarter. Did you look at it? Did you really look at it? Or did you just toss it into the register without a second thought? Here is your call to action. Do not be a spender. Be a collector. Start checking your change. Look for the 2006 date. Look for the South Dakota design. And then look closer. Look for anomalies. Look for missing letters, like the grease-filled die error where the O in South disappears. Look for off-center strikes where the design is shifted to one side. Look for any imperfection that seems out of place. If you find something, do not clean it. Do not rub it. Handle it by the edges and get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. The difference between a day at the office and a life of wealth could be hanging out in your pocket right now. The 2006 South Dakota quarter is a testament to the idea that value is often hidden in plain sight. It is a reminder that the things we overlook are often the things that hold the most potential. We are living in a time where the market for rare coins is experiencing a renaissance. The urgency is real. As more people become aware of these errors, the competition for them increases. The window of opportunity to find these coins in circulation is closing. The longer they sit in your change jar, the more they get worn down, losing their value. The time to act is now. So, the next time you see a quarter, remember this video. Remember the ghost of the 2006 South Dakota quarter. Remember that the line between 25 cents and $500,000 is a razor-thin margin of error. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter. By all accounts, it should be just another 25-cent piece, a relic of the state quarters program that swept the nation in the late 90s and early 2000s. Over 673 million of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone, with millions more rolling off the presses in Denver. They are, in the eyes of most Americans, nothing more than pocket change, fodder for parking meters, laundry machines, and the bottom of dusty coin jars. And yet, hidden among those billions of mass-produced tokens, there exists a ghost. A coin so rare, so profoundly flawed by the chaotic machinery of the United States Mint, that it has driven collectors into a frenzy and commanded prices that defy all logic. We are talking, of course, about the 2000 New Hampshire quarter that has sold for figures approaching $606,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A quarter, worth more than most luxury homes, more than a fleet of brand new cars. And it could be sitting in your change jar right now, completely unrecognized, waiting to be discovered. Let that sink in for a moment. Every single day, Americans spend, trade, and discard these coins without a second thought. They jingle in pockets, they clatter onto counters, they are fed into vending machines and forgotten. The average person sees a quarter and thinks of gum, or a phone call, or maybe a toll booth. They do not think of early retirement. They do not think of life-changing wealth. But here is the uncomfortable truth that separates the informed from the oblivious. The difference between a 25-cent spender and a six-figure treasure is often nothing more than a fraction of a millimeter, a split-second error at the mint, or a single missing letter in the inscription. The spender sees pocket change. The collector sees a down payment on a dream. Now, before we dive into the technical details, I want you to do something. Right now, pause this video. Go to your pocket, your purse, that old coffee can on your dresser, or the jar of loose change in your car. Look at the dates. Are there any 2000 quarters? Do you see the profile of the old man of the mountain? Do you see the words live free or die? If you have one, do not spend it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You might be holding something far, far more valuable. I will wait. Welcome back. What you just did, that moment of checking, of hoping, of wondering, that is the spark that drives the entire numismatic world. That is the thrill of the hunt. And the 2000 New Hampshire quarter is, without question, one of the most electrifying treasures you could ever hope to find in circulation. So, what makes this particular coin so special? Why is it a ghost in the market? To understand that, we have to go back to the year 2000, a perfect storm of production pressure and mechanical mayhem at the United States Mint. The state quarters program was in full swing, releasing 5 new state designs every single year. In 2000 alone, the Mint was responsible for striking billions of coins across 5 brand new reverse designs: Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia, while simultaneously launching the Sacagawea dollar on an entirely different metal alloy. The Philadelphia and Denver mints were running at full throttle, around the clock, pushing machinery to its absolute limits. And when you push machinery to its limits, things break, things slip, things go wrong. And that is precisely where the magic and the money happens. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter features the iconic Old Man of the Mountain on its reverse, a natural rock formation that had stood as a symbol of the granite state for millennia. Tragically, just 3 years after this coin was minted on May 3, 2003, the Old Man collapsed due to natural forces. That historical connection alone gives this coin an emotional weight that collectors find irresistible. But it is the minting errors, the spectacular, 1 in a million mistakes, that transform this quarter from a sentimental keepsake into a financial weapon of mass destruction. Let us talk about the errors. There are several varieties that can send the value of this coin into the stratosphere, and each one is a testament to the chaos that reigned inside the mint that year. First, there is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank shifts position before the dies come down to strike it, leaving the design printed off to one side with a smooth, blank crescent of metal on the opposite edge. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter is one of the most frequently reported off-center examples from this year. While minor off-center errors from 5 to 10% might only fetch $10 to $20, the truly dramatic examples, 50% or more off-center with the date still clearly visible, have sold at auction for anywhere from $200 to over $1,000. In one documented case, a 2000 P New Hampshire quarter with a 25% off-center strike, graded MS67 by NGC, attracted 26 bids and sold for nearly $200. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. Then there is the double strike, where the coin is struck not once but twice or even 3 times by the dies. A 2000 P New Hampshire quarter that was double struck with a 40% indent, graded MS65 by PCGS, sold at auction for over $400. Even more extreme, a triple struck example has been documented, with both the second and third strikes occurring 40% off-center. These coins are visual anomalies, with ghost images overlapping the primary design, and they are highly sought after by error collectors. But the real heavy hitters, the coins that approach that $600,000 figure, are the ones that involve catastrophic failures in the minting process. We are talking about the Sacagawea dollar quarter mule error, one of the most valuable modern U.S. mint errors ever discovered. In 2000, a quarter die accidentally ended up in a dollar press, resulting in the first authenticated mule in modern U.S. coinage history. These coins feature the obverse of a Washington quarter paired with the reverse of a Sacagawea dollar, struck on a gold-colored dollar coin planchet. They weigh 8.1 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams, have a plain smooth edge instead of reeded, and they have sold for anywhere from $60,000 to over $144,000. Then there is the double denomination error, a Lincoln cent struck onto a 2000 P New Hampshire quarter. This is an extremely dramatic and fascinating error where both dies intended to strike Lincoln cents were instead used to strike a New Hampshire state quarter. A specimen graded MS64 by PCGS sold at auction for $26,400. And let us not forget the wrong planchet errors, where a quarter die strikes a planchet intended for a different denomination. A 2000 New Hampshire quarter struck on a nickel planchet, which is smaller and lighter than a quarter planchet, can be worth anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. Other errors to watch for include the missing clad layer, where one or both of the outer copper-nickel layers fail to bond to the copper core, resulting in a coin that appears silver in color and weighs significantly less than normal. There is the broad strike, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing the metal to spread outward into a wider, sometimes irregular shape. There are die cracks, cuds, filled dies, strike-through errors from grease or foreign objects, and over-polished reverse dies that cause missing details. Each of these errors has its own value range, and some of them, particularly when combined with high mint state grades, can command thousands of dollars. But here is the thing that keeps collectors up at night. The vast majority of these error coins were never pulled from circulation. They were released into the wild, mixed in with billions of normal quarters, and sent out to banks, businesses, and ultimately into the pockets of everyday Americans. They have been spent, traded, lost, and forgotten. They are out there right now waiting to be found. And that is what makes this coin a ghost in the market. It is not sitting in a museum. It is not locked in a vault. It is in your loose change. It is in that jar on your nightstand. It is in the coin return of that vending machine you used last week. The market for these coins is hotter than ever. In recent years, pristine, high-grade examples of the 2000 New Hampshire quarter have been selling for staggering amounts. A 2000D New Hampshire quarter graded MS68 by PCGS sold for $633. A 2000P New Hampshire quarter in MS68 condition sold for $207. And those are just the standard non-error coins. When you introduce a major error into the equation, the prices skyrocket. The Sacagawea mule alone has been valued at up to $144,000. The double denomination error sold for over $26,000. And the most extreme examples, the ones that combine multiple errors, pristine condition, and historical significance, have approached and even surpassed the $600,000 mark. Why are these coins so valuable? Comes down to a simple equation. Scarcity multiplied by demand. The number of these error coins that exist in the world is infinitesimally small. The number that have survived in high mint state condition is even smaller. And the number that are currently available on the open market is practically zero. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that are not just rare, but that tell a story of mechanical failure, of historical coincidence, of a fleeting moment in time when the minting process went spectacularly wrong. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter tells that story better than almost any other modern coin. And here is where the urgency comes in. The window of opportunity to find these coins in circulation is closing. Every day, more of them are being pulled out of circulation by savvy collectors. Every day, more of them are being lost, damaged, or melted down. Every day, the remaining supply shrinks. The coins that are out there right now are becoming rarer by the minute. And as the supply shrinks, the value goes up. It is basic economics. If you have a 2000 New Hampshire quarter sitting in your change jar, you are not just holding a piece of metal. You are holding a ticking time bomb of potential value. You are holding a lottery ticket that costs absolutely nothing to check. So what should you do? First, do not spend any 2000 New Hampshire quarters you find. Set them aside. Look at them closely under a bright light. Check for any of the errors we have discussed today. Is the design off-center? Is there doubling in the lettering? Does the coin look unusual in any way? Weigh it. A standard quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If yours weighs significantly more or less, you may have a major error on your hands. Check the edge. Is it smooth instead of reeded? That could be a mule error. Check the color. Is it golden instead of silver? That could be a Sacagawea planchet. Look for missing letters, missing details, or any other anomalies. Second, if you find something that looks promising, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not rub it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its numismatic value. Leave it exactly as you found it. Handle it by the edges, and place it in a protective holder. Third, get it authenticated. Professional grading services like PCGS, NGC, or Annex can evaluate your coin, verify its authenticity, and assign it a grade. This is essential if you want to sell your coin for top dollar. A certified coin is worth far more than an unverified one. The certification process costs money, typically $30 to $50, but it is a small price to pay when you are potentially sitting on a six-figure windfall. And finally, do your research. The world of numismatics is vast and complex, but it is also incredibly rewarding. There are countless resources available online, from price guides to auction records to forums where collectors share their finds. The more you know, the better equipped you will be to recognize a valuable coin when you see one. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter is not just a coin. It is a symbol of possibility. It is a reminder that wealth can be found in the most unexpected places. It is proof that sometimes the universe throws you a bone, if only you have the eyes to see it. The spender sees a quarter. The collector sees a future. Which one are you? Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter is just one example of the hidden treasures lurking in American pocket change. There are dozens of other coins, from the 1999 New Jersey Proof Quarter that sold for over $2,500, to the 2004 Wisconsin Extra Leaf Quarter that can fetch over $1,000, to the countless other error coins and high-grade rarities that are waiting to be discovered. The world of numismatics is a goldmine for those who know what to look for. And the best part? You do not need to be a millionaire to get started. You just need to pay attention. So, the next time you reach into your pocket for a quarter to buy a soda, stop. Look at the date. Look at the design. Look for the flaws. You might just be holding the key to your financial freedom. And if you are lucky enough to find a 2000 New Hampshire quarter with a spectacular error, do not spend it. Do not lose it. Cherish it. And maybe, just maybe, start planning that early retirement. This has been your deep dive into the 2000 New Hampshire quarter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And stay tuned for our next episode, where we will be uncovering the secrets of another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in your change jar. Until next time, happy hunting. And remember, every coin tells a story. Yours might just be worth $600,000.